everybody. Hello, welcome, hi. This is a thing. It's a role-playing game thing. We've done a few of these on the channel before. This is a RPG first look where we take a look at an indie RPG, sometimes one that's on Kickstarter like this one. And it's a little different because normally this thing that you are watching would just be me and a PDF, and I'd be looking through it being like, look at that rule, look at these rules, look at that art. But instead, look, I have a guest. We're actually gonna play this game. So instead of just talking about the game, we have the fairly rare opportunity to take a look through it, figure out how the game works, and then actually play it. And I'm joined, of course, by Bluejay. Hi, Bluejay.
Hi, my name's PDF.
Look at this PDF. Look at that. Listen, in the grim future, children will be named PDF and Pepsi and Photoshop file.
No, you'll name one like layers correct dot like
yeah.
Oh my, and then the next one is like layers correct 2
offspring underscore final for real this time. You're like, I keep having kids, they just don't come out right. So we're gonna take a look at this game. This is Cut to the Chase by Mongrel Games. I got to play a beta of this back when it was called something else. It was called Escape. I think Jonathan and I did a little playtest of this game, and I really liked it because it reminded me a lot of Fiasco, which, Bluejay, you haven't played Fiasco yet, have you? We should play that sometime. I'll bring a kit to a con.
I have it.
We'll get some people together. So the reason it's high praise. Fiasco is one of the kind of OG collaborative role-playing games that I think most people play. And the reason that I think that Cut to the Chase does some of the same things is that it's a core mechanism that does one thing. It tells one kind of story. And then from that small set of rules, there are scenarios that are going to be presented as part of the Kickstarter, and they help you fill in the details of the various moment-to-moment narrative stuff in the game, which is kind of cool. They're sort of like campaign settings, but they're going to come with like specific details about the game. But let's talk about what Cut to the Chase is before we try to play it. So Cut to the Chase is a 2-player RPG, which is kind of rare in and of itself. And I feel like I get that question a lot. People ask me like, what's a good RPG for 2 players? I want to play Dungeon World for 2 players. I'm like, nope. I want to play Apocalypse World with 2 players. You're not going to have fun. Dungeons and Dragons, not great with 2 people. But there are a few games that are explicitly set for 2 players, and Cut to the Chase is one of them. It is a game in which our characters will be opposed to one another. This is a game of adversarial content, but we're not enemies, me and Bluejay. I mean, right now, we're not enemies.
Are you sure?
I can't speak for the future, but right now, yeah. The idea is that we're going to share the narrative. So we're both here for the same reason. We're sitting to describe a cool chase scene, a sequence in which one of us will play the hunter and the other will play the prey. And in the end, either the hunter will capture their prey or the prey will escape. And I have a couple of ideas for scenarios. I mean, there'll be a ton of built-in scenarios, but right now we are set adrift in the world of our own creativity. So we're going to get to make up how this is going to work. But the idea is that we go back and forth, taking actions, deciding what we're going to try to do to either escape or capture. We're going to roll some dice to see how those actions play out. That'll change the narrative for the next action, and we're going to be tracking separation. So separation is kind of the key thing. I'm going to pop you over to Roll20. I got a Roll20 account set up here. This is the play sheet for the game. It's going to help us track along the side here how well we're doing. There are 4 rounds, and in each round, the prey and the hunter both take an action, and we track separation. As separation gets closer to 0, the hunter gets closer to their prey, and if we ever reach 0, we have a clash, which is that moment where the prey cannot run but has to face down the hunter for a moment and then break free or perhaps become captured. Or if we get to the end of round 4, then the prey will escape. So that's basically it for each character. There is a set of actions that you can take during the round to track the separation. And we'll have some additional mechanical stuff that we can use to give us bonuses or to penalize our enemies. So let's maybe talk about like what our setting is. What do you want to for our first test run? Because I think we'll probably be able to play this a couple of times.
And we're just gonna bop straight in.
Yeah, well, let's just
Going
talk. Let's
for it.
just talk about it. Let's make up some fictional stuff, and then that'll give us an idea to talk about the prey actions and whatever. And for whoever in chat was like, "This is," Chrome Viper said, "Is this just going to be about replicants?" Get out of here! No, I wasn't
I
gonna do.
mean,
No,
yeah, you were. Yes, you
I
were.
was not. That's not true. So I actually had a thought that it was inspired. It was inspired by, so Bluejay and I have been playing Dark Souls recently, and
Mhm.
we keep getting invaded, and it's super annoying. And
Oh,
so what I was thinking might be a fun one is that the prey is somebody
the
who's,
host of Embers and
yeah,
the
the
invader.
prey is just somebody trying to play Dark Souls. And the hunter is an invader who is trying to come into their world and kill them so that they cannot continue playing Dark Souls. I thought that might be a fun one to tie in with the video game thing.
Awesome.
But I
That
mean,
sounds great.
I
Yeah,
feel
let's
like
do
you,
it.
I feel you can. It's pretty easy to come up with like a quick brainstorm of like a handful of things, right? Like the obvious one is like the cops and robbers one, right? Like,
Mhm.
like a and you can retheme that one for a bunch of stuff. It could be like a car chase, it could be a back alley like street chase, it could be a
Mhm.
future cop, it could be like one of the sheriff of Nottingham's men chasing Robin Hood through the woods. Like there's that's pretty easy.
That's like a classic chase scenario.
Yeah, right. Um
I feel like there's the when I think of like chase scenarios, there's the classic like cops versus robbers, good guy versus bad guy. And then there's the absolutely horrifying like one lover chasing another.
Yeah, I wondered about that too. Like I wanted to play the game through first and see if I wonder if it would be possible. I think with the right scenario guidelines, it would totally be possible to do a sort of like Victorian like courting chase, right?
Yeah, just like it's
Totally.
first like just trying to figure out if the actions would fit that, if you could bend them
Hmm.
to fit
Yeah.
that, because obviously like a chase where like it could just be one runner on track and field trying to like whatever. It could be
I like that.
we'll
So
just
Jeevesy makes a good point. You'd have to change that game to be called Cut to the Chased.
ha
I like
ha
that. That's cute. I
you're
like that.
fired.
Somebody said you could do one about chasing, hunting down the Magic the Gathering world's most annoying planeswalkers and call it Cut to the Jace. So yeah, I think like a romantic chase is certainly an option. Somebody in chat pointed out like a serial killer hunting their victim, right? A horror movie
Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah.
where like
I mean,
I got
in
my
like
chainsaw and my hockey mask. I'm chasing
that's
you through
kind
the
of
haunted
just like
house.
the reverse good cop chasing bad guy is
Hmm.
the bad guy chasing the actual prey.
Right. Yeah. Buffalo Bill and Clarice, right? The turn
Oh,
of the turn the
oh
tides.
man.
Yeah,
Oh,
right. The whole movie Alien is a game of this, but it goes back and forth. And I actually think that would be
who's
a
chasing
fun
who? Yeah.
that'd be a fun way to do it too, to have like a pivot, right? To be like, I'm chasing you, and then oh, now we got to do it. Now we do it backwards. Kind of like
Mhm.
in Takedo, where you can go all the way to the end and come back. You could totally flip it and be like Sigourney Weaver getting chased by the alien, and then oh, now she's got a flamethrower, and then you flip
Yeah.
it. You flip it over. I really like the idea too of like death, like the concept of death, like stalking someone through their last days, and like them kind of like bypassing or avoiding scary things that might happen to them, right? Like a
I mean, you could do it like in a
can of
Final
paint.
Destination type way,
Hmm.
like where I don't know, like a air conditioning unit falls out of a window and you dodge out of the way, like you overcame this obstacle
Hmm.
as a prey. Like you could probably do that, or
Yeah.
just like you went to the doctor and got a check.
Right. Yeah. Well, and that's what's sort of fun about this is that we're both narrating a story about a scene in which something is pursuing something else, and we're playing to find out if that pursuing thing gets its prey. And it could be, yeah, something very simple and obvious like a cat and a mouse, or you could play it a bunch more and try to, yeah,
You
try to
could
do some more
do
different stuff.
avoiding your male coworker that doesn't realize it's sexual harassment.
Yes, you could. You certainly could. Well, and that's what's fun about it too. And like, you know, you this is
Oh.
sort of like in Microscope when you sit down, there's always that early conversation about like, okay, imagine a whole scenario of like options that we could pick from. We have like all these different ideas. We're focused on one core concept. What is that going to be? And then as players, you get to sit down and kind of like go back and forth. And I feel like by the time you get to the end of it, you've got a few ideas that would be fun. I mean, I think it sounds to me like the one that it seems like the default when we think of like a chase scene is that the like cops and robbers one. So why don't
Yeah.
we just start there?
Okay. For sure.
Do you want to be the good guy or the bad guy?
The bad guy.
Okay, cool. So you're a police officer and I'm just kidding. Yeah, so
No.
you want to be the robber or
Oh, it doesn't matter to me.
all right, okay. So you can put on your domino mask, you can get your big bag with a dollar sign on it, put your black and
Yeah.
white striped shirt
Let's
on.
play Payday 2.
All right. So what I guess so the first thing we talk about, there's actually some prompt questions. So
Okay.
the first thing you need to do to decide is who will play which character. After this, you start building the setting by answering the following questions. So you are going to be the prey
Yeah.
in this situation. So who or what are you, and why are you on the run?
I am a jewel thief.
Ah.
And I am on the run because the alarm went off and the police have been alerted to my devious speed.
Okay. All right. So do you have a specific destination that you're headed towards, or is your only goal to get away from me?
I feel like it's just lose the cops.
Okay. Now can we make this like I'm feeling like this is probably you're a jewel thief, so it's probably like kind of cartoony and
Yeah.
like
Yeah, very much
okay.
so.
So
Yeah.
this is like a
Giant like bag.
yeah, like a 40s
action.
comic strip.
Yes.
Right? Like a 40s comic strip from like France. So you probably have like a big long curling mustache.
I have the like black and white striped shirt.
Yeah. And I've got the hat with a little star on it and a baton and like a
Yes.
little cop car. Yeah, okay. All right, good. So like slightly cartoony version of these things. Yeah, exactly. Big bombs that are like a sphere with a wick sticking out of it.
You
Okay.
just you take a bit of charcoal and draw a circle in the ground,
Right?
and
Okay,
now it's a hole.
so that's what we're establishing right now, right? Are the narrative rules of the universe we're going to build so that we know how to contextualize our actions later on. So if we were like, this is a gritty, like hunt a killer type situation, right? If this is Silence of the Lambs, Buffalo Bill's not going to get away by drawing a window on the wall and opening the window and jumping out. Like it's not. So we have to set the parameters, and that's sort of what this is. So your goal is just to get away, is to escape, to lose
Yes.
your pursuer.
Lose my tail. Yes.
Okay. All right. So Hunter, who or what are you, and what is your connection to the prey? Why are you chasing them? Because the alarm went off at the Royal Jewel Depository, and I have to protect the jewels of France from this cat burglar. Probably we have like a personal relationship. Like probably I've been chasing you, like we're foils.
Like the one who got away.
Yeah, right. Like
He's stolen so many jewels.
Yeah, it's become like a Pink Panther situation. There's this Inspector Clouseau type deal. So yeah, Sacre Bleu, I have to chase you down. Yeah, so I'm gonna go and try to catch you, not only because it's what is right, but because I have been trying for so very long. Yeah. Okay. Good. So what is the environment? And I feel like we're answering these questions already as we go. But what is the environment in which we are doing this?
I think just classically, I feel like it's a cartoonized like Paris.
It's Paris. Yeah, it's a cartoon version of Paris for sure. There's going to be people in the background, like riding bicycles with baguettes in the basket, wearing berets. There will be mimes.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be so good.
Yeah, the Champs-Élysées, it's a whole thing. All right, so it's a chase through a cartoony version of Paris. Does it take place during a specific time period?
I feel like vaguely modern, but pre-cell phone, right? Like cartoons with cell phones are weird.
Yeah, well, I think again, if we're going with the sort of comic strip approach, it's probably like 30s Paris. Maybe?
Yeah,
like there are cars, but they're not like what we would think of as like modern. There's not cars everywhere, right? This isn't like an Italian Job 60s type of jam, though you could very easily do that.
The women wear those like from their waist all the way to their ankles skirts. It's good. Like, yeah.
Okay, cool. So like, yeah, pre-World War II, Paris, kind of cartoony. Are there any specific landmarks that we want to include? I mean, Paris stuff.
Just Paris.
I don't actually know Paris that well, so like.
I mean, you got the Eiffel Tower, you have the Louvre, you have the like.
Right. So the Mona Lisa is just in the background.
Yeah. Arc de.
Obviously, like, the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Various cafes.
A giant guillotine.
I mean, if we wanted to do a version of France that was set in the French Revolution, yes, chasing down the bourgeoisie to bring them to the guillotine could be a different. Yeah, we got to hunt.
No, I feel like it's more like this is the Eiffel Tower. This is a cafe. Some lady's smoking, and like you only like take like you just get the ashes off her cigarette when you run past.
Yeah, right. She's like, yeah, ooh, perfect. Yeah, okay. Are there any landmarks or places that have a specific or special meaning to either of the characters? If there are, describe them and explain what is special about the place. I don't think so. I think that this is literally our like rolling background. Yeah. You know, our Flintstones style.
I feel like if we give the background too much depth, it's not a cartoon anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. We want to kind of have it be like something like that. Okay. So the beats will be the various bits and pieces of this like ongoing serialized comic strip of the inspector and his prey. I like that. That's exciting. Okay. So the idea here is that these questions should kind of get you going. You don't have to like fully detail out the setting, because what'll happen is that we will draw out details as we go. This is just to set the flower bed in which we'll plant the ideas of our actions as we go along. So at the start of the game, you can see down here, and it's actually just a little behind my head for chat, but there is a set of boxes, I'm pointing at them, called prey resources and hunter resources. So for that, I have 3 of them, and you have 2 for the whole thing. And you can use these to gain a bonus. You get a +1 bonus to your roll. They represent items or knowledge the characters can access to give a bonus to an action. You don't have to decide what they are before play. They come to light in the course of the story as needed. This reminds me of, what was it? Intel in the Sprawl. Remember how you like you generate? Yeah, it's Intel.
It was either Intel or Gear. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you have it, but you don't have to detail what it is until you say, this is the thing. And so I have some ideas, but I'm not gonna share them because I'm gonna bring them out while we play.
Yeah, you gotta surprise
secret resources. So they are important to a couple of things in the game. You can use them anytime you want. You just describe, I am doing the thing and I'm going to use it. You indicate you're using the resource before you make the roll. Resources can't be reused. You can only use 1 per round. If you are supposed to lose a resource because of an action, but you have none already, you're already at 0, you take a -1 on your next roll, because there are a couple. If you notice, like obstruct, you have no choice but to use a resource. That costs a resource to to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And then otherwise you can use the same. Some of them, if you get progress or failure, you can lose resources as well. So if that happens and you don't have any more left over, it's -1 for your next thing.
Okay.
So that's resources. There's a list in the game of suggestions, right? Things you find in the environment, special knowledge, things you're carrying on your person, contacts you might have. So bring in NPCs, that kind of thing. And the way it's going to work is that every round we're going to roll 2d6 and check the results according to this top left chart. So I'm going to roll 2d6. So I got a 2 and a 3. The highest number that you have is the one that you check. My highest number is a 3. I would fail on that action. And each type of action has a listing for what happens as your action. And that's basically it. If you get 2 5s or 2 successes, it is a success, and you get to either increase or decrease separation according to whichever you prefer. If your highest number is a 6, you get a success. If your highest number is a 4 or a 5, you get progress. So there's granular levels. There's failure, progress, or success. And then that's our actions. So
Mhm.
success means you succeeded the action with no adverse effect. Nothing else happens. It's the best result. Progress means you took an action, but there was some fumbling going on. You accomplished what you wanted, but there's some additional thing. Usually this means like a -1 on your next roll, or you lose a resource, something like that. And then failure, you bungled it, and that's just too bad. Yeah, cool. All right. So the penalties for if you have a -1 or a +1 to your roll, you add the +1 to your highest die. If you roll 2 of the same die and you have a penalty, it only applies to 1 die, so you keep the higher one. So like if I
Okay.
got 2 4s and I had a -1, I'd have a 4 and a 3, so I'd still get to keep that 4.
Right. Got it.
Cool. Okay. Well, let's begin. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do a round. So, the chase begins with a prey scene, which plays out in 3 steps. First, the hunter sets the scene and describes the current situation for the prey. Then the prey responds, narrating the action they take. Then the prey chooses an action and rolls for the outcome. So for this little tutorial one, I'm going to set the scene and describe the current situation. So you were stealing jewels
Mhm.
and you are in whatever French for Le Store de Jewels is. You've robbed some kind of auction house, and I imagine you have like a diamond the size of your fist because we have to be able to see
Oh,
it. It
yeah.
can't be like
Oh,
little
yeah.
tiny. So you've like
It's definitely I'm
stolen.
definitely, like, looking at it, and it's, like, glinting,
Yeah, it's
just,
called
like,
like.
greedily. Like, you have the, like, diamonds in my eyes too, and I'm just like, "Oh."
Yeah, and it's called like it's like a diamond with a special name, like Le
Mhm.
Mer de Lune or something. And I think that means the Sea of the Moon. My French is terrible. And so you have this diamond you've broken out, but you tripped the alarm. There's this big old timey red like alarm bell that's ringing, and you know that the police will be on their way. La gendarmerie will be on their way any moment. You're still in the store. There's like broken glass on the floor, and the various like jewel cases, the now empty jewel cases, lying there. So you're gonna take your first action. You
Right.
narrate the action that moves you towards your destination. You can use the elements that I gave you. You can introduce some additional ones. You're not required to directly overcome anything that I might have said. Like you don't have to disable the alarm or anything.
Right.
Um, and then you're gonna narrate something, and you're gonna pair it up with one of the actions. So your actions are outrun, think fast, obstruct, or mislead. And if you take the obstruct or mislead action, you can put on me, on the hunter, the obstructed or misled condition, which I have to like get out of first before I can keep chasing you.
Mhm.
So what do? You've triggered the alarm. Your mustache is freshly waxed. You got your running shoes on. You have the Sea of the Moon in hand. What do you do?
Um, so, for fictionally, there's the whole, like, I have the big diamonds in my eyes, and I have the diamond in my hand, and then I hear the alarm bells, and I immediately, like, do the whole, like, look back and forth, like, "Oh, no, they got me." And then, I put the diamond in my giant sack, my
Mm-hmm.
running sack,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to think fast.
Okay.
So
So you're thinking fast. What is it like? What is the action your character is taking?
I think the point is just like I want to get out of here before anyone can see me, right?
Okay.
So
So,
I'm starting off by just like I heard the alarm and I want to immediately spur to action.
right. So in that case, you're probably actually looking to outrun, right? If you just want to like put some distance in, because outrun, if you succeed,
Ah,
it boosts the separation, which is basically your hit points for this
okay.
conflict. Because you
Yeah,
want to
then
you want to
like
get as
just start
separated as
running.
possible. Yeah. Think
Absolutely.
fast would be like making up a plan or
No, I
something like
think I'm
that. Yeah.
just getting out of here.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna take the action. You're gonna roll 2d6,
Okay.
and then you're gonna get a result.
Ugh. Let's go. I got a 5.
5 is your highest
5
die.
is my highest.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So that means you got progress.
progress, which on outrun progress is +1 separation, but I get a -1 on my next roll.
Okay.
So I will
Right.
keep that in mind.
All right. So the separation will become, we will go up to 3. So what does that look like?
I feel like because I get a -1 on my next roll,
Mm-hmm.
I leave some hint behind that it's me. Maybe I comically tear my jacket or shirt
Your
on some
black
of the
and white
broken.
striped prisoner shirt.
Yes. And so you know it's me. Um while I'm trying to escape, I leave a little thing behind. And then I just like take off running with the classic like Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible run.
Your legs are like a spinny wheel, and we see
Yeah.
the blurry background of France behind you.
Yes.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So that means now you get to set the scene for me. So when
Okay.
you, and this, I like this because you describe what your action is, and then you hand it over to me by telling me, where does the chase begin based on the setting that you created. Describe my
Mhm.
current situation for me. And then, or you can just jump to another scene altogether. So leaving behind this shred of your clothing, where's my scene start? I have some
Okay.
ideas, but it's your responsibility to do it.
So
So I'll
I
let
set the
you.
scene and describe the current situation for the
Yeah,
hunter.
describe it for me.
So you're also mustachioed. We
Of
have a
course.
competition about whose mustache is
Yeah, I mean,
better.
I feel like I have to be wearing like a tan trench coat and a fedora, and I definitely have like a magnifying glass.
Yes.
Obviously, I'm an
Y-
inspector. I have
You
to
arrive,
inspect.
you arrive at the jewelry shop and you have your giant magnifying glass and you're looking around like who could possibly uh have been responsible for this. Um and I did not successfully mislead or obstruct you on the last action. So I feel like the starting situation is your eyeglass, magnifying glass, focuses in on that scrap of my short shirt, and it's just like, "Zut alors!
I
I
like.
know who this is."
I feel like the thing is that all the French that we're using is Quebecois French. So like,
I
I guess
know.
it's Little Perry. Um,
Who cares? It's the cartoon.
so I'm yeah. So there's probably in the background there are a bunch of other like regular cops, but I've come in and I'm like looking at the obstacle, like looking around, and I'm like, aha, this is the work of the bandits. And I'm going to try to pursue you. And I think what happens is we see me like looking at the scrap of cloth, and then I follow my magnifying glass, and we see big footprints like on the pavement, and there's like a track of them dashing away
Yeah,
out of the shop. So I'm
because
gonna.
there's no blood in the
No,
cartoon.
no, totally. You didn't hurt yourself. You just like left footprints for me to follow. So I am going to take chase. I think is how I do
Okay.
that. And let's see, because my options are I'm not misled, so I don't have to find the trail. I'm not obstructed, so I can take chase or I can take a shortcut. And I think I'm gonna take chase now. And actually, you know what's
Okay.
funny? Like playing this, I'm seeing how like you want to set up for future. It feels a little like Duel of Wits.
It is.
I
Yeah.
kind of like
It's
that. Yeah.
mhm.
Okay.
I see that.
So I'm gonna roll my 2 6. I just take chase. I'm like, aha, and I run.
This way.
Yeah, follow me. I blow my whistle and I like leap. I leap over the broken glass of the window and I run, holding my hat on my head. The cause of justice is in play. So let's roll 2d6 and see how I do. Now I don't have any penalties or bonuses because of your roll. You're gonna have a penalty on your next one.
Yes.
Let's see how we do. Oh no. Two ones. I rolled a 1 and a 1. Ah, mais oui. So I have failed to take
Yes.
chase. I am too slow. One too many foie gras for me. So no penalty or bonus to separation for me. We both have a -1 to our next roll.
Good. I'm glad it's both of us.
Yeah. So I've just made your partway failure better. So
Okay.
we
So
start at
the
separation 2.
And the end of the round, we have a -1 as well. So my +1 from the prey action is canceled out, and we're still at 2.
We remain at 2. We are separated by 2. So you have to, I have to get that separation down to 0 so that we can have a clash, so I can try to grab you. And you want to just avoid me forever. No.
Yes.
So,
Yes, please.
do you, let's see. Yeah, now we go back. So at the end of the hunter scene, reduce it by 1. If it's 0, you immediately go to a clash. If it's not at 0, we do another prey scene. Okay. So
Okay.
you have escaped the immediate vicinity.
Hmm.
And I think the scene now, you've tried to like lose me by running out of the streets.
I look down at my shoes and they have ink on the soles.
Yeah. So you've tried to lose me in a crowd. So we are at the is it the Champs-Élysées that lead up to the Eiffel Tower? Is
I
that the
don't
part?
know.
So you're in that thing where everybody's taking
Oh
pictures.
no, the police.
There are people with like big flashbulb cameras taking photos of each other. There are young lovers on a stroll in the Champs-Élysées. You've run into this crowded area, and in the distance we can see the Eiffel Tower. And the idea here is that I will chase you here, and then you could try to like lose me.
Okay.
Or
Oh,
use these
it's
people.
a crowded,
It's a fairly crowded
open
area,
thing.
yeah,
Got it.
full of like tourists and university students and yeah. So that is your turn. What are you gonna do?
Okay, so I feel like here, because I have a -1, I'm
Yes.
gonna try and use a resource
Yeah, that's what I
to
was.
get that back up.
Oh, that's right. We have resources.
Yeah, my resource here, I'm going to try and mislead. And what I'm going to be doing is through the crowd, as I like dart through the crowd, I'm going to be taking items that people have left on like benches while they take photographs. I'll take a hat here, a jacket there, and
So you're just like making a disguise out of people's like
yes,
missing stuff.
yes, I'm taking their things that they've set down and donning a
Grandmama's
disguise.
bonnet and yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So I mark off 1 resource, which you've already
Yep.
done.
Yeah, I marked that off for you.
And then I'll try to mislead. So
Okay.
that's +0 because I don't have a -1 anymore, but
Okay.
I don't have a +1 either.
Okay.
Ah, I have a 3, which is a failure.
3 is a failure. So what do you get? What happens on
So
a failure to mislead?
failure, I lose another resource.
Oof, your other resource.
And you get a +1 on your next roll. So now you're at a +0.
So I think if you can set up for me, but I'm pretty sure that what happens here is that I have like cops in the crowd, right?
Well,
Like,
I think the thing for me is that I'm not good at stealing from people. I'm good at stealing from
right.
places. So every time I take someone's thing, they yell and point.
Yeah,
They're like,
okay.
"This person
So-
just took my thing."
So is that the scene? Like I'm at one end of the group and you're at the other. Yeah, and you're like trying to steal
It's very obvious. Like there's a red exclamation point above people in the crowd, and they point in the direction of where I've gone.
Oh yeah, so the shot, like the 3 panels is like one of you like literally trying to steal candy from a baby. Like you've got your hand on like this lollipop and the baby's crying and pointing. And then there's a panel of like it's probably drawn with a lot of like straight, like scratchy lines, and you're at the far end all tiny, and I'm at the foreground, like whoa. And then yeah, and then the last one is the baby like blowing a whistle and like pointing at you. Okay, all right. Don't steal bonbons from les enfants. I will give chase then. And I'm gonna use a resource as well, I think. And my resource is that les enfants is secretly a member of the gendarmerie. Like that's a detective
my
baby.
God.
They were
Detective
working for me
baby.
all along. And
God
the baby
damn.
like holds up their badge and points at you like, ah, you're under arrest. The baby will like slow you down, trying to put handcuffs on you as I take a shortcut through the crowd. So I'm gonna run around the crowd while you're delayed, and I'm going to try
Are you taking
to.
a shortcut or?
Yeah, I think in this case I'm gonna try to. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna use my planned ahead action. I think that I get to use it once
You
per
plan
game.
ahead because you
Yeah,
had a
I had a
detective
baby in the crowd. So I'm gonna use my planned ahead action. I only get to use it once per game. And if I succeed or progress, the beginning of the next action gets a -1. So I used a resource for this action, and that gives me a +1. I started at -1, then you failed and gave me a +1, and then I gave
Right.
myself another +1.
Right.
So it's 2d6, and then it's +1 to the highest die. Okay, here we
Please
go.
fail miserably.
Yes, I got a success. All
Ah.
right. So at the beginning of the prey's next action,
We have a
see.
-1 separation.
So this one was a 0, and then at the beginning, separation drops right away there.
So, but you don't have anything happen on this round, so yours is a 0 right now.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
That's right.
Ah,
Yeah, right. Little
no.
cop lights on the stroller. Exactly. So
The
I
baby also
planned
has
ahead, and we can see me like from my big noodly arms, noodly comic book arms, as I like run through the crowd. And obviously, like, I'm the good guy, so it's not like I'm shoving people out of the way. There's probably a lot of like stopping to like take my hat off to like, Madame, Monsieur, pardonnez-moi,
sorry.
pardonnez-moi, excuse me, and then I burst through. Yeah, so I rolled a 5, but I got a +1 on that roll, so I got a success. It's going to give you -1 separation. If the let's see, the -1 separation occurs at the beginning of the next round. If as a result of the -1, the separation becomes 0, the prey still gets their action without a clash.
Right.
So to finish off this round, we started at 2. It goes down to 1. And then at the beginning of your action, it is another -1. So it will go to 0, but we still play out this turn. And then at the end of the round, if it's 0, we do a clash instead.
Okay. Well,
so I gotta set the scene for you.
I'm being arrested by a baby.
I think the baby has handcuffed you to itself, but you can still just run. Like it's just a baby, but now you have a baby hanging from your wrist, and the baby's wearing like a little police cap and has aviator sunglasses on and a mustache. So you have this baby hanging from your wrist. You have your bag with the diamond in it. You haven't had a cigarette in 5 whole minutes. And and you see me coming. I'm like moving through the crowd, and I'm like, I'm all like, excusez-moi, pardon me. And then you see me. We lock eyes, and I'm like so close to you, but you have a chance to get away. What are you gonna do?
Okay, I feel like what I need to do is gain separation. So I can do that by either outrunning you. By misleading you, because I can't obstruct anymore because I don't have a resource.
That's right. And if you successfully mislead me,
then
I have to find the trail
action. So I think I'm going to try to mislead you. And what this is like is that I'm just very like I duck into a large and very busy marketplace, like an indoor market, an indoor farmers market, and it's so busy. And
Le Baguetterie.
Yeah, and I have a baby on my arm, but there are so many people with babies here. So I'm just gonna try and like duck through the shops and bakeries and just get away.
Okay. So is this you're trying to
maybe I'll hide in one depending on how the roll goes.
Yeah, so is this, what action are you taking? You're taking mislead? So you are going to take mislead. Okay, so you're going to try to lose me in the crowd.
In the marketplace.
Okay, so you don't
have another detective baby.
You don't have any bonuses or penalties to your roll.
So I'll just do it.
Okay.
I got a 4.
Got 4. Okay, so a 4 is progress.
And progress on this roll is a +1 separation. The hunter is misled, but you get a +1 on your roll.
So you mislead me, but not perfectly. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think what that is like, I do lose you, but I still have a baby handcuffed to my arm. So it's like,
excuse me, officer baby.
So it's you have a clue as to how to find me again. It's
Right. So I like have my radio, and there's little like wah coming out of it, and I'm like, aha. And I like, I can't see you in the crowd necessarily, but I'm following by the power of my hearing.
Cry in
Yeah,
French.
crying in French, exactly. And so I'm like listening for the baby as I try to find the trail. So I'm forced, because I'm misled, I'm forced to take the find the trail action.
Yes.
Now
But
I
you
have
have a
two. Yeah, I
+1.
have 2 resources left, so I'm gonna spend another one. I really want to make sure I'm back on track. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
spend another resource. My
Plus
resource is
2.
my radio. It's my police radio, and being able to hear you rather than see you might help me out in this case. So I got a +2 to my highest one. One
Ooh.
from you, and then one from my resource.
Ooh.
Here we go.
Please get 1. Please get 1. Please get
I got a
1.
5. So progress, but not a success. So I am at -1 to my next roll.
But you're back on track.
-1R, but I'm back on track. So let's calculate the separation. So it started at 1, it goes up to 2, goes back down to 1.
And then it goes to -1. So we're clashing now.
We are clashing. So I catch, or I have a chance to catch you here on round 4. This is my second to last chance to catch. So let's see how a clash works. That's good. I'm glad we got a chance to do
Okay,
that.
it says if the separation reaches 0 at the end of a hunter scene,
Mhm.
the hunter catches up to the prey and they clash. The first clash is part of the round in which the hunter catches up.
Okay.
It's a direct interaction. The narration should involve both players. You set the scene together, etc., etc., and then we just compare die.
Okay.
There's no bonuses. There's no penalties. It's random chance.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I catch you, I think, on the other end. I catch you as you're trying to leave
I turned the corner
market.
with the baby attached to my wrist and the jewel in my coat and right in front of me.
So I'm standing there twirling my mustache in victory, because I know it's a given. Probably there are like police lights flashing behind me. The baby hanging from your wrist is like reading you your rights.
In French.
Yeah, and I have I'm too sophisticated to have like a gun or a baton. Also, this is a cartoon. But I imagine that you can't run. You have to like get past me. So does this
There's
turn?
like, I look behind me and there's a police car, and I look in front of me and there's you, and we're in an alley, so there's no other directions.
Is this a like we roll up our sleeves like type situation? Does it come to the fisticuffs?
Oh, definitely.
All right, good. So I like that you're gonna fist fight me with a baby hanging from your wrist. But yeah, like gentlemen, right? Like we have come to this. I've
I love
cornered
it.
you.
You have the fake, your hands are the gloves, and you pull down your sleeves, but your hands are still gloves.
Yeah. So I roll up my sleeves, and yeah, and I get and obviously like I have like a tattoo on my bicep of like Lady Liberté with her like her blindfold and her scales. And yeah, and so I roll up my sleeves.
Okay, well, let's do it.
Fisticuffs.
It's just a plain old 2d6 roll.
Okay.
Oh,
What'd you get?
I got 2 3s.
I got a 1 and a 6. Ha. Okay. So you compare your highest die, and
Which you have a 6, so
Right,
you
that's
are the
Liberty.
winner of
Right.
this encounter.
All right. So if the hunter beats the prey, the hunter is successful and wins the game. So I thrash you soundly in the name of France. And
Some of my teeth fall out. I have like
black
birds
eye,
around my head.
you little birds playing accordions flying around your head. Yeah, when your teeth is blacked out, and yeah, you're all
And the fight is just like, we like do the fisticuffs thing, and then it's just a cloud of dust.
Right. Yeah, with arms and legs coming out of it, punching and kicking, and then in the end, let's see. So if the hunter beats the prey, the hunter is successful and wins the game. Ending the game for the hunter, winning the game means capturing the prey. To do this, catch up with them, take them in the clash. The winner gets to narrate the end of the game. What do you do now that you've succeeded? Is there someone you share your successes with? Do you have a celebration? Go all out with your narration. Obviously, the last panel is I'm being lauded finally by the press and the people of Paris for capturing the villain. However, I imagine, because this is an ongoing serialized comic strip that must continue at least until we get invaded by the Nazis. You
This isn't over.
Yeah, right. It's a shot of you like with your face sticking out of the jail cell, mustache between the bars, like, I'll get you, Inspector. Like it's not over yet. Yeah, and then I imagine this is the kind of serialized comic that later would become like co-opted by the underground, and we would team up to fight the Nazis who have invaded our beloved France.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, and they use the comic strip to pass secret messages to the underground. There
Perfect.
you go. I caught you. I win.
You did
That was
it.
super fun. And like,
It's so random at the end though, like that just straight like 2d6 roll. You're just like,
yeah, the clash comes down.
completely-
So if I hadn't beat you, if the prey beats the hunter, they evade capture for that round. If there are any rounds left, they clash. The players clash again directly in the next round, and no other actions are taken. So had you won, then we would have clashed. We would have clashed again. Yeah, if there are any rounds left, they crash again directly in the next round. Each clash is a round of its own. If there are no rounds left.
This was technically outside of the 4-round structure. If I would have won, then the next clash would have been round 4. And if I would have won that, then I'm successful.
Yeah, the earlier I get that clash, the less likely it is for you to escape, because
we'd have to do clash after clash.
You can't break from a clash back to the chase once. And I think that's what keeps it from going like, and the separation doesn't have to be literal, right? Like we could easily have had much closer chase. I could have been a few steps behind you, and one of your actions to for example, like obstruct me would be like punch me in the face, right? Like it can be
a good obstruction is to go up on the ladder, and that's the only way out of the room. And so like someone has to climb up behind you, and then you just kick them off the ladder and they fall to their deaths.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Do you want to do another one? Do you want to do the hunter?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah? Okay. Well, so what are we gonna do for our sequence for this one? What's our setting?
Oh, I definitely want to do that Dark Souls thing.
Yeah, you want to be the invader?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just trying to play some PvE Dark Souls here with my friend, and you keep invading me. So I will be playing Dark Souls fan 0040, and you can be D's Nuts PvP Lord Harsh Tokes.
No, I get to choose my own name. Excuse me. My name is asterisk because I'm an asshole.
Good. Okay. Fantastic. Good stuff. So I am just an innocent player of Dark Souls. I'm kitted out in like an okay PvE. I probably don't know about the weight limits. So I'm probably like fat rolling when I try to escape from things. But I'm learning, and I ember up because it gives me that extra batch of hit points.
Yeah, you want that help.
I want the hit points. And I really like jolly cooperation. It's really fun playing with other people. I'm really excited about the multiplayer. I've heard so much about Dark Souls. I think this game is going to be so much fun. All my friends say I should play it. And and I've started to play. And then I get this message that says you have been invaded. And I'm like, oh, fun, somebody to play with. I wonder what's going to happen.
And I come in and I'm kitted to the max. I have a really ridiculous hat on, and my sword's got lightning on it. And I make sure to invade you like in an area where there's lots of NPCs, not NPCs, but
monsters.
Monsters.
Okay.
There's also a giant that throws rocks.
Perfect. Good.
So it's a really shitty area.
Yeah. Really shitty area to get PvP'd in. Okay. So we've got our setting. We've got our narrative. So you're the hunter. So
I am.
I believe you set.
So I will set the scene.
You set the scene for me.
You get the like you've been invaded by asterisk, and
what a funny name.
Oh, which is that name? And I feel like the location is a swamp.
Oh, great. Good. So it's all slow and
it's slow. It's poison water, obviously.
Oh man.
And there's also an area of the swamp where some creature from like really far away that we never really know what it is just throwing rocks.
Okay, good. So
And
it's
that's where I'm like ducking around, like, hey, come at me.
it's a fictional area in which there's both poisonous water and something shooting rocks at me from the distance. I don't
Yeah.
think I've been struggling to get through this area for like an hour already, and now I'm like,
just like
okay,
dancing back
all
like
right.
over here.
Okay, so I see you, and I remember what somebody told me on the internet once, and they were like, if you get invaded, you can ditch your invader if you can get to the boss door. And I think I know where the boss door is, and I almost got there last time, and if I don't find anything, I can just like run there. So I hold down the B button, and I jam that front stick forward, and I'm just gonna run. I'm just gonna try to run past you as fast as I can. I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Okay, so you're just outrunning?
I think I'm gonna start. Yeah, I'm gonna start just by doing an outrun. Try to put some distance between us while you're emoting at me, right? While you're doing the like,
I'm just like,
suck it emote and the waving and the pointing down. I'm gonna just turn around and run for it and make you chase me.
okay.
Okay, good. So I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna try to get the hell out of here. So I gotta roll 2d6,
Mhm.
and that's it. Just a nice simple 2d6. Here we go. My best result is a 6. Yeah, sucker. Didn't see that coming, did you? You thought I was gonna fight. So while you're like mock bowing to me, I probably like wiggle my shield a bunch of times and then just run off.
I'm like, bro, like, why don't you want a PvP if you're embered up, bro?
All right. So
I think there's no VoIP in Dark Souls.
Thank God. So you're stuck in your taunting animation, and I run. So
That's a
that's a +1 for me. All right, what do you so I guess you watch me run off. You're ankle deep in sludge. And you realize like, oh, he's going to run. He's running for the boss door. You realize that if you get on me and you kill me fast enough, I won't be able to get to the door. So, what are you going to do?
Okay. So you set the scene, you're running for the boss door.
Yeah.
I think what I'm gonna try and do, because I wasn't misled, and I wasn't obstructed.
Yeah.
So I know this area way better than you do. I've played this game so many times. Plus, I have a ring that makes the poison not do anything to me.
Oh, so you're equipped for this area to destroy me. Okay.
So I'm gonna have planned ahead.
Oh, you're just starting with the plan ahead. Oh, so you like, this is a trap. You're the spider.
Oh yeah.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. Okay. So and my resources is that ring. So I can just fucking go.
Oh, you're doing both, hey? So you're gonna use a resource and plan ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll have a +1 to my highest to my highest
Damn
whatever.
Roll bad.
6.
Oh no.
So I get a -1 separation at the beginning of your next action.
All right. So -1 separation there.
But nothing right now. So right now we're at 3.
So obviously, like I guess you get to describe it, but like I'm not familiar with this area, right?
No,
so set it up for me for the next one.
So for the start of the next thing is like you think you know where the boss door is, but you aren't sure and you haven't been there before. And you accidentally fall off of the ledge that you were trying to get to the boss door on, and it drops you back into the swamp, and you have to go like all the way around.
Yeah. All right. So I fall off this ledge and I lose some of my hit points, and I drink an Estus, even though I'm only like a tiny bit of health down. I'm paranoid, so I waste one of my Estus, filling up to full. And then I remember, oh wait, there's a covenant that I can equip that maybe I can summon a friend who will fight you for me. So I in a panic, I throw my inventory open. I probably accidentally like changed the resolution of the game. I throw my inventory open and I throw on that covenant, and I'm gonna hope that a blue person will come and fight you for me. So I'm gonna use a resource.
Is this an obstruct?
This is an obstruct. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
We haven't done that before.
Yeah. So I use a resource to obstruct. And if I succeed, you're obstructed and I get +1 separation. I may lose my other resource though.
Okay.
So let me roll my 2d6. Oh, I got a 4. All right.
And that is a progress?
4 is progress. Yep. So you're obstructed I lose my other
Sorry,
resource.
I'm blurry.
It's
There you
okay.
go.
I lose my other resource. But somebody comes. Somebody appears. I get
So
a
progress is you get that +1 separation.
yeah.
Have you marked that? Yeah,
Yeah.
there we go. I am obstructed, but you lose your second resource.
Mhm.
Rad.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, cool. So I think that's what happens for you. Like you're obviously the obstruction is as you're running, you watch me fall into your trap. You watch me tumble off the edge, and then you hear the sound, and you see this blue person, and they've got like they're kind of like doing the cosplay for that boss with the fire sword, the multiple boss guys. Remember
Right.
those
Okay.
guys? They're doing the cosplay for that, and they like do the proper like they bow to you and they lightning their weapon, and they're standing between me and you.
Okay. So I have to overcome an obstacle
Yeah,
because I am
Abyss
obstructed.
Watchers. That's the one. Yeah.
So I'm gonna use another resource.
Okay. What's your
And
resource?
my resource in this case is I have equipped a like crap load of fire bombs.
You're gonna spam fire
So I'm
bombs
gonna
on.
spam fire bombs and just be at a distance because like they've got a sword. They can't like if they just can't get to me. Like so I'm gonna spend another resource.
So you're just gonna cheese them. Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna cheese them. And so I get a +1 to my highest roll, which I got a 6, so I overcome the obstacle.
Okay, good. So it doesn't change the separation, but
No,
you kill the person.
but I'm no longer obstructed.
So while they're trying to like bow and like duel you honorably, you just spam them with missile weapons till they fall off a cliff and die.
Yeah.
You're a bastard. So I guess I see them fall or whatever. I see them die.
And
it's
then
like,
you on the side of your screen, their health goes to 0, and you're just like,
damn it. All right. So we started this round at 2. It went up to 3, down 1 from your planning ahead. So that negates. So we're at 1.
no, we're
Yeah,
because -1. Okay.
There's always -1.
All right. So at the beginning of your scene here, I feel like the thing is you can see the boss door, but it's across a bridge, and well,
there's like a
maybe
gargoyle
you don't know,
or
but there's something that's gonna pop down on the bridge in front of you. So like I think the thing is that you don't know.
yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But
Well,
I know.
so I'm gonna use the mislead action, and it's not because I'm misleading you on purpose, but it's because I go the wrong way. So I get to the bridge and I'm like, I can see the boss door, but I think there's a shortcut, and I just start climbing down a ladder off to one side that's like gonna lead me off to another area.
That's not
And
even the boss door.
yeah,
Right.
and so I'm gonna try to mislead you. I'm gonna just go the wrong way and like try to lose you. So I go off into a place where you don't you don't expect me to go that way.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, I don't have any more resources, so I can't get a +1. I'm just gonna try to roll on a progress. I mislead you. On a success, I mislead you, and on progress, you get a +1 to get out of it. Find the trail again. So here we go. 2d6. Come on, give me a 6. Yes. Okay.
Okay, so that's success.
+1. Yeah, +1 success. You are misled, which means on your
So
action
now
you
I
have to find
the trail.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've run off to a different area. Your gargoyle trap didn't jump in time.
I noticed that. He's not on the bridge, so that means you couldn't have gone that way.
Yeah, right. You don't actually see me climb down the ladder. You get to the top and you see, and you're like, they're gone. Where'd they go? Okay.
So I feel like, yeah, that's the thing is that I notice that the gargoyle hasn't been like spawned in or hasn't jumped down from the tower yet. So that means that you couldn't have gone that way. What way did you go? I'm going to try and find the trail. I'm going to just like run around and see what enemies have been kited where.
Right. Yeah.
And let's see. I think that I'm going to go ahead and use my last resource. And the resource is just like knowledge of the area.
Yeah, you know this game way better
and where
than
the
me.
enemies spawn. And like if any of them are outside of their spawn point, then you must have gone that way.
Yeah. So I like that. So your resource here isn't a in-universe thing. It's you as a player, this evil little shitlord trying to kill me.
Yeah.
You know this zone better than me. Okay, cool.
Okay. +1 to whatever my highest die is. It's a 6.
Okay.
I'm back on track.
All right. So you're back on track.
Boom.
So at the end of this round, it starts at 1, goes up to 2, and goes back down to 1. Oh my God, I gotta get away.
Yeah, you
Gotta
have
get
to.
out of here.
So I think that the start is you get to another area. You got out of this one, but you have absolutely no
Mhm,
clue.
mhm, mhm.
This area is like a weird village. So there's lots of houses to hide in or behind, but there's also a bunch of villagers who are all on like the villager walking routes, so they're moving around.
Mhm.
Um, and there's a hole in the middle. But if
I,
you
for some reason, I'm carrying around like 180,000 souls because I was like,
oh
oh,
yeah.
I'll just go back to
Oh
the bonfire.
man.
And I'm just like,
Oh.
I'm panicking. Hands are all sweaty. And I just, I'm going to run. I'm just going to panic and run for it. I'm just going to try to outrun you. Just like, oh God. And I'm going to just book it through the scary area that I've never been to. I have no idea where I'm going. And I'm just shouting for my, like, I have an elder sibling who's played this game. And I'm just like, Dave, help! Dave, they're chasing me. Yeah, so I'm just like screaming for my big brother to come and save me and take care of this PvPer.
Okay.
So here we go. I'm gonna roll and 2d6. Oh no, I got a 2. All right,
So what is
so
that?
-1 on my next roll, +1 on the hunter's next roll. Damn it.
Nice. Well, I mean, the -1 won't matter if the next thing is a clash.
I don't know if those
I
rolls
don't think it
apply. I don't
does.
think they do. But
Yeah,
oh
because it
God.
says the clash says you never bonus or penalties.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's see. Yeah.
I'm just gonna take a shortcut. I see.
So I'm like running for the boss door and you're gonna slide out in front of me.
Well, no, you're not running for the boss door. You're running to try and find where
Well,
the next
remember, I
bonfire
have to
is.
no, because I have to get to a boss door to get rid of you. So I'm just running around trying to find a boss
Oh,
door.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe since it's round 4, like maybe I've spotted the boss door for this area, even though I've never been here before.
It's just like right out there.
Yeah, and this is the slow-mo, like for me, it's just like and as I'm like running in towards it.
But I just like drop down from somewhere.
Okay.
Because I know like that if I go over this, I don't know, Dark Souls shit.
You just
I
pull
take
some
a
shit.
I take a shortcut.
Yeah, okay.
And I have a +1 to this one from your failure, right?
Yes.
I have a +1 on my next roll. Okay, so +1 to my highest die on take a shortcut. It's a 6. -1 separation.
Damn it. Okay. So on mine I got a 0.
I got a
So we
-1.
definitely have one last
This is the
clash.
clash.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I realize there's nowhere to go, but
I drop
through.
right in front of you,
Yeah,
and I
and
have my like lightening up my sword.
I'm trying to think of what, like, I have 2 really suboptimal weapons. Like I don't have a shield and I just have 2 weapons that I don't have the stats for. So I'm just like throwing them and like rolling, trying to like avoid you. And I lock on and then I unlock and the camera like points at the ceiling and I'm basically just flailing around,
This
throwing
sounds like me every time I play Dark Souls.
throwing my weapons into the air, dual wielding long swords, just trying to hit you.
All right, you go first.
Yeah, and I get, let's see, 2d6. I always forget I don't have to click this. There we go. I got a 3. I got 2 3s.
I got a 4. Ah!
Damn it. All right, describe the end of this glorious PvPing.
So I think the way that I like to win PvPs is like I'm hitting at you, I'm backing up, I'm letting you use your Estus. I can see when you're out. I know like you're sweating at home. And instead of like I wait until you're at like half health, and then knowing this area, I maneuver you with your back to like the hole in the center of town, and I just like make a roll and you like back up because you're scared and you fall in the hole and you die. And
So
then I stand over it
kill
and I like wave. And
nice.
I'm like,
Damn it.
Yeah.
Damn it. I immediately go into Steam and I block you.
You died.
You died. That's awesome. So that's it. You have to be really clever to escape.
Yeah,
I think
lucky. I got like 6.
Yeah, you did every time I threw an obstacle, because I felt like I was doing pretty good, but every time I threw an obstacle in your way, you were just like, got a 6, doesn't count, got a 6, I don't care. I think chat was pointing out something that I think is interesting, that the chase mechanics in many role-playing games are not very good. And you could so easily port this into another game. It would just be a question of figuring out how to, like, taking a step back. Because in this, if you were to do something like this with D&D or Stars Without Number or something, all of the characters would be evenly the same mechanically, right? You would just narratively describe, like, I run fast because I'm a fast runner. It'd be a way to, narrate your character's actions. But it is a fairly simple, and it actually takes less time in a game dedicated to chasing to do a chase than it does in a game where it's a pinned in mechanic.
Yeah, no, I think this is super fun and also like fairly flexible. I think it might be pretty fairly even with a little bit of balance towards the hunter, just because the prey has several actions that
Yeah,
require the hunter to
right.
take an action.
That's the balance. That's
And
the
the
balance
actions
for
that
me.
the
Yeah.
prey does that requires the hunter to take an action, even if the hunter is successful, they cannot diminish the separation on that roll. So if you can just, like you did, misled and obstructed, that wastes 2 different rounds where I don't get the +1 on the separation, right? The only change there is that every single round there's the -1 no matter what.
Yeah,
Which I
'cause it
think
is
is what balances it towards the hunter.
it's stated in the rule book that the hunter is faster than the prey. Like, if everything else is even, the hunter will always be a little faster because it is in favor of them. But I think you're right. I think if you use mislead, again, it reminds me of Duel of Wits. Like, it's not always necessarily about being better, but you can outscript your opponent, right? With a little bit of luck, using obstacles and misleading, because that basically just skips your opponent's turn, right? For the hunter.
Exactly.
The hunter will
You're
always
just
get,
trying to get to round 4 before the separation gets to 0.
and it seems
Which
like,
means you do have to put in some +1s
yeah,
as the prey. Like, you must.
have to,
but if you
yeah.
don't, then they
You-
will get to 0.
you
Even if
clash-
you mislead and obstruct them.
Yeah, you clash on round 3, no matter what. They always get the -1. So yeah, it seems like obstruct. I actually really think this is nicely balanced, because obstruct gives you separation and obstruction, but it costs resources, so you can only do it once or maybe twice if you're lucky, if you don't progress, right?
Right.
I feel like if I was lucky on that obstruct, I got the +1 separation, obstructed you, and then I obstructed again, and I had that for both my resources, I feel like that would have set you back far enough that I would have still had 1 on the 4th
I mean,
round.
you could.
But you're
if
rolling
you
so
would've been-
good.
If you would have been successful on an obstruct and then like just an outrun,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You just get that +1 separation, +1 separation. You would have.
Yeah, and
But I was rolling so well.
We didn't roll any 5/5s or 6/6s, right? Let me go back to the roll. So
I rolled a 5/5.
if you get, oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. So
I guess we just didn't.
I didn't, because I
We were
can't.
already at 0, I think was the
Oh,
thing.
it was at the end. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about it again. So if you get a 5/5 or a 6/6 during the chase, not during a clash, not only does it give you your regular success, it also gives you that additional adjustment to separation. So that can be a really, like, a big push in either direction.
So when I rolled the 5/5 right here, we were already going to be at 0.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it didn't.
yeah. So it
Like,
didn't
I think we
matter.
were going to be at -1.
Yeah, which you can, when you get to a 0, it's like
Yeah.
you have the clash. And then if you can 5/5 in a clash, it beats a 6 because the doubles are better. Yeah, that is interesting. And it's pretty rare that happens, but it's cool that there is that kind of, like, essentially the critical success option, in the game. So yeah, the cool thing about the Kickstarter for this is that it's the core game, which the version of it that I have is like 20 pages. There's gonna be a bunch more art and stuff at certain stretch goals, but the idea is that there's gonna be a bunch of scenarios built in, because, like I said, like Fiasco, you can make up your own, and like we did, like, real quick, just come up with a couple of things. But it's always really cool to be able to sit down and say, like, all right, let's try this one. So there's like a Sleepy Hollow Frankenstein, like, chasing down a body double one. There is let's see, there's a bunch of cool fantasy ones. There's a submarine chase. So if you want to live out your own Cold War Red October situation, Ashton McAllen, Sijiak, is doing one called Paris to Angkor, which is about returning an artifact. One of my mods, Mikey Quantum Dot, is doing a sci-fi one. There is there's one for planning a Valentine's date. There's like a ton of them. Kira's doing one about snakes. No surprise there. So if you want to check out those, there's already a ton in the thing, and a bunch more stretch goals with new art. You can do that by just using the !chase command in chat, which I will punch in there. And then for the YouTube video, I'll put the link to the Kickstarter in the comments. The project is going for another 22 days, so it's got lots of time, and it looks like it's on its way to backing. So I'm excited. It's really cool getting to see a game like really early on and watching it evolve. It was really nice seeing
Yeah,
the
because
changes that
you
were made.
saw and played it before.
Yeah. Jonathan brought it to me, and we play tested it months ago, and it's really cool. I'm a big fan of games that do one thing and they do that one thing really well. I would rather have that than a toolbox of kind of halfway done stuff. And I think that if you went to a con and you just printed out a couple of the play sheets, this would be a great game to play while you're in line for a
Oh
panel.
yeah, for sure. It only like we did 2 things in like maybe 15 minutes a piece.
Yeah, it takes up the same space as like a quick card game around a magic. And I think that it's nice to have those games. There aren't enough 2-player games in the world. I think a lot of the time people make 2-player games and they're like, it's about dating, because that's a thing 2 people do together, right? It's romance games, which is cool. It's cool seeing those, but it's nice seeing a nice quick game for 2 players. So yeah. So this is Cut to the Chase. It's by Mongrel Games. I hope that it's exciting getting to actually play the game rather than just talking about it. If you want to learn more about it, check out the Kickstarter. I'll tweet out the link, and go and give chase yourself. Bluejay, thank you for coming and hanging out and playing this game with me.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah. And everybody, thanks for coming and watching. I hope that you enjoyed our little first look at Cut to the Chase. See you next time.